So this next example is actually going to show within the market risk analysis system that we've got here on Exalytics how we can dynamically do some sorts of analysis within here just beyond the scope of what's available in the standard dashboards. So a question that I was asked was, if this example here, which shows us a particular risk factor bucket combination, curve 8 by curve 4, across each of those different buckets for all of 2012, how do these charts compare? If you wanted to take, say, the top 3 data points within each of those cells, how do they compare to each other? Or how do they compare to the actual trend of data that we're seeing? So one way you might look at doing that is actually by following sort of a similar pattern to this full trellis bars example here, where we're showing one of the metrics trended against the quarterly average. So the actual value for that, the average for that month, trended against the quarterly average, hence why you see the same bar spanning 3 at a time. So what you can see there, what we basically need to do is edit that or swap out that quarterly value average for a function that will give us just the number for the top 3 data points. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go and analyse this particular report. So that takes me away from the dashboard, takes me into the answers interface. This is the same report that's there, so I can go and see those trellis bars that we were just looking at. But effectively what I want to do is modify this quarterly value average metric in the criteria of the report. So I go to the criteria, find the quarterly value average function, and I'm going to edit the formula for this. So rather than quarterly value average, what I want to basically do is take the actual correlation value. Well, let's use this value average field that basically allows me to then roll it up over different time frames potentially. So there I take the value average, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate a rank across that. And the reason that I do a rank is that will then allow me to pick out the numbers which are less than 1 to 3. Now what this would do at the moment, because I've got a huge number of data points on this grid right now, this could give me numbers that range from sort of 1 to 100,000 potentially. What I want to do is within each cell of that trellis I want to pick out the top 3 data points, which means I need to calculate that number basically only to be a value of 1 to 12 against each of those months that I was looking at there. So let's do the risk value average by each of the other dimensions on that grid, which basically is the curve and the bucket combinations. So curve bucket 1 to curve 2 and bucket 2. So that's the item I'm going to bring on here. Let me just quickly change the title here. So let me do a ranking of this number, rank of that. Let's go ahead and see what that gives us. So, in fact, let's have a look at it on a table view. That's probably going to be the easiest way for us to look at that. So let's just add a new table into this. So where's our rank function gone? There's our rank of value average, and what we can see here now across that time frame, so across each of the quarters, the monthly values, we've got this rank option here available, and this is giving me exactly what I wanted. So I've got values from 1 up to 12 for each of those quarters. But what I'm really going to want to do is only filter out those numbers which are from 1 to 3, and we see here actually they range at the end of that particular data point, whereas this next one here we've got a 1 and we've got 2 and a 3 up here. So what I'm effectively going to do is say, let's have a look at this rank value average and change it so that it's not just giving me values from 1 to 3, but I'm going to make it give me something slightly different. So I want to go and edit that field again, and let's say let's use a case statement on there. So I'm going to use a case statement on that function. So when that particular calculation there, so let's say case when, and these are all functions that are available in here, so I could go and look at this. It's a I think this is one of the expressions that's available. So our case switch, this gives us the syntax case that, when, that, then, etc. So what I'm effectively going to do case when that value is less than or equal to 3, then what I want you to show me is the value average, not the value 1 to 3, but actually the value average function. Otherwise I don't want to see anything, so I don't need to put an else in there, I'll just put end. So this is now going to be top 3 value averages. have a look at the results. And in fact, if I just flip over to the full trellis bars, we should see this changing already actually. So now what you can see on this is straight away we've got top 3 value averages has been updated on that trellis, and we can see those 3 data points for each of the cells is highlighted. Now you can see that's different across each of those different cells. That's because I told it to calculate it by the combinations of risk factor buckets. Now if I wanted to, I could then take this a little bit further, just do that final piece. Either this could be useful enough as it is, or perhaps what if we wanted to see shown on that report a line which is the average of those 3 values. Well, that's a very easy thing to do. I can just go back to my criteria again. I can go and edit that top 3 value averages, edit the formula, and let's just say, you know, keep that whole formula that we've got there, and let's just form an average across that. But again, what I want to do is make sure that it does that average across each of the separate cells in the data. So I just need to use this by field again. So I'll do by curve to bucket, etc. So cut and paste, hit OK, hit results. And let's have a look at our trellis bars. There we can see it's done me that average line across each of those examples, and it's shown me that specifically for each of the cells on the trellis. So there we go, we can see exactly what that number was. There, in fact, the formatting is showing it as just a 1. I can go and change the formatting to give me decimal points as well if I want to, but you know, I'm visualizing it here, so that's fine. So that's a good example of how I might create something like this, and then go ahead and make a change in here, and then if I wanted to, I could go and save this analysis. So let's just go and save as another field, or save here. That would then appear on the dashboard, and we'd see it exactly as it was. So hope that's helpful to understand how you make changes within huge amounts of data. Again, we're running this, we're calculating it dynamically against about 10 billion cells of raw information at the daily level, and we can very easily do these kind of calculations on the fly.